India produces over 1,000 distinct varieties of mangoes. From Benganapali to Alfonso, this massive harvest supports entire local economies and defines the rhythm of the summer season. But every heavy, juice-filled fruit begins as a tiny, vulnerable blossom. A single mango tree can carry up to 3,000 of these branches. On every branch, you can find as many as 10,000 individual flowers. For a fruit to grow, pollen must find its way between male and female flowers. Producing a harvest at this scale is a massive physical feat. Somehow, pollen must move across millions of tiny flowers year after year. For years, the botanical assumption was that mango trees relied entirely on the wind to carry pollen from tree to tree. But if you stand in an orchard during the bloom, you will notice the flowers emit a sweet, slightly fermented odor. Wind-pollinated plants do not waste valuable energy producing perfume. They have no biological reason to. The tree was actively engineering that scent to attract specific visitors, initiating a search to find the real pollinators of the mango. Farmers often import commercial, non-native European honeybees to handle the job. However, honeybees have a critical behavioral flaw. As this flight map shows, they tend to stay localized, looping repeatedly around the exact same tree canopy. Because they don't cross between different trees, they deliver the wrong pollen, resulting in malformed fruits. Standard agricultural practices were failing to produce a healthy crop. Studies in Bangalore and Mexico finally identified the real architects of the harvest. They are messy, wild insects. This work is done by native bugs, wild dwarf bees, stingless bees, houseflies, hoverflies, and crawling ants. Unlike commercial bees, these insects travel vast distances between different orchards, expertly cross-pollinating the trees. Allowing these wild insects access to the flowers increases mango yields by 350%. This multi-billion-dollar industry is supported by the unpaid labor of wild flies and ants. To protect the crop from pests, many orchards are heavily sprayed with neonicotinoid insecticides. Neonicotinoid chemicals are highly potent neurotoxins. When an insect touches them, its entire central nervous system begins to shut down. The chemicals destroy the insect's navigation and memory. They are unable to find their way back to their hives. The farmer loses the money spent on pesticides, loses the local pollinators, and ends up with fruits that are 30% lighter. Ironically, the very chemicals used to protect the mangoes are wiping out the only workforce capable of creating them. Recently, the Indian government applied an environmental accounting framework to formally value this ecological supply chain. Wild pollinators are responsible for up to 10% of the total value of India's crop output. To the economy, this biological workforce is worth an estimated 2.6 lakh crore rupees. Protecting these insects is now a matter of national economic security. Securing the harvest requires agricultural changes, breaking up monocultures with native forest patches, adding wildflower strips, and strictly timing the use of pesticides. In Peru, stingless bees recently won legal rights in court to exist and thrive. India may need to grant similar legal protections to its own microscopic workers to ensure its agricultural survival. The future of the mango harvest rests with its messiest workers.
Hello and good evening. I'm Abhilash, your UPSC Civil Service Examination mentor. Is this a good way or shall we go back to the old way? Uh, this weekly session, I'm trying to see Zoom provides this facility of coming in front presentation and is it so okay in YouTube streaming it does not show that. Mm, only in the इसमें दिखा रहा है. So we should start our session. Uh, I hope people who joined a little early in the live stream, they must have seen one story about the way Indian mangoes are, how what is the challenge happening to Indian mangoes and how the pesticides are killing, or the ones to save are actually doing harm to the uh, entire thing. तो थोड़ी सी तो हम थोड़ी बहुत ऐसे बात करेंगे हर हफ्ते विच इज कंसर्निंग इंडिया एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट. तो ये एक आजकल बड़ा न्यूज में था इंडियन बैंकों के ऊपर. तो आई वांटेड यू टू हैव एन इंसाइट अबाउट इट बिकॉज इंडियन मैंगोज आर वन ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट produce of India, from which India earns a lot of money export wise. So going forward today's session, I have received a few questions. I'm sure question mostly the way the question has come is mm, that he's a beginner and I have a lot of question and I have to clear in first attempt and I'm doing job and household work and a law student as well. So somebody who is totally involved totally in his day is he wants to aspiration is to clear in first attempt, and then he is while his current presence is that he is doing a job and he does his entire work, maybe living alone and doing cooking and cleaning up the house, and then he's also a college student parallelly studying law. The exam should be there as per that requirement. So this is one question. Another question is like mostly beginners who have uh, planning for 2027 and so yeah, mostly 2027 beginner only. सो मैं तो ये कहूंगा कि अभी प्रीलिम्स तो खत्म हो गया. अभी आप द way the aspirants who are preparing they go by the exam section only. तो जो बच्चे अभी कॉलेज खत्म हुए हैं एंड दे आर प्लानिंग फॉर 2027 दे स्टार्ट विद फाउंडेशन प्लान प्रीलिम्स की तरफ ध्यान करके. जो रिपीटर हैं वो अभी मेंस का ही करते रहते हैं. दे स्टार्ट राइटिंग आंसर्स एंड डूइंग आंसर इवन दो दे आर नॉट गिविंग द एग्जाम. Still, they go by the flow of the exam pattern only because the day they clear the exam, एक stage clear करेंगे, they know that the remaining time will be not sufficient to create a topper class of or topper level of answer. So they follow the entire pattern of UPSC. बट जो फ्रेशर है ऑब्वियसली जब तक आप बेसिक नॉलेज ना गेन करो, जब तक आप You do not know and understand what UPSC exam is all about, how the questions are framed, what is the demand of the question, what they're asking through prelims. Till the time you don't get that vibe, you need to prepare from the scratch or start. There are multiple approaches. People have traditionally we give the name of the books and you schedule, you do your way of doing it. किताब पढ़ना शुरू कर लेते हो. Then there are approaches that you buy previous year question or you download it from UPSC's website, and slowly you realize that कि this is the kind of question एक topic से ही आता है. So you design your preparation pattern in that ways that automatically eyes find what can be relevant for the question, even if you are studying a NCERT level book. Obviously, they are not checking your स्कूल लेवल का पढ़ाई तो नहीं चेक कर रहे कि क्लास 7 में कितना पढ़ाई किया, क्लास 8 में कितना पढ़ाई किया. Even if the topics were introduced in class 6th and 7th, they actually are checking your aspiration as a civil servant or as a public servant. How much you're aware, governance के बारे में, how are you going to serve the country, or the position is such. Civil services का positions or bureaucratic positions are such, the responsibility remains. चाहे आप कुछ हो करो ना करो, लेकिन जिम्मेदार तो आप समझे जाते हो. And then, like life, I mean, the world is such that people who work, they never come in front. People who do ulta sida work, they get the news. So your own personality and attitude decides how your career. But एक job का जो expectation है, what is the expectation of a bureaucracy or bureaucratic job role, is that you are a public servant. तो उस बेसिस पे हमको प्रिपेयर करना है. अब जैसे यहाँ पे मैक्सिमम बच्चे जो होते हैं भाई, देयर आर सो मेनी रीजंस विल डिस्कस टुडे कि क्या होता है, भाई व्हाट हैपेंस. थोड़ी बहुत अबाउट मी, आई एम आल्सो समवन लाइक यू. जस्ट दैट कि आई क्लियर द एग्जाम इन 2008. एंड उस टाइम पे एक अलग सिस्टम था, टू ऑप्शनल सिस्टम था. And then I have had my own career, and then now I'm into full time this. I've started Elevate IAS as uh, you know uh, platform for building or preparing a UPSC aspirant, and basically self study को मैं motivate करता हूँ and with mentor guidance. क्योंकि कभी कभी क्या होता है, ये मेहनत तो आपको करनी है. आप कोचिंग कर लो, आप कुछ भी कर लो, जब तक आप किताब के साथ, टिल द टाइम यू डोंट सिट विद द बुक in your own table or in your own place, that interaction has not happened. No amount of YouTube video, lecture, notes will help. It is you and your relation with the study, which is where, as a mentor, we come or try to help you build up that convenience or a relation. Kabhi kabhi that helps actually. So that is what is the role. But my position here is to help you do your self study better and make you aligned to your preparation. जितने भी आपकी energy है, it actually stays aligned to the exam preparation. यहाँ वहाँ की बातें करके कुछ मिलेगा. So today's session, it's a weekly session. I'm sure you must be aware. If you're not aware, if you're coming for the first time, so it is an interactive session. ऐसा नहीं है सेशन पूरा वो सब कुछ बोलना चाहिए. ये है आप जो मन में सवाल लेके हो, any questions which you have brought in your mind and you want to ask, you kindly chat in if you're in the Zoom session, or if you're watching through YouTube live, you chat in the YouTube chat. Or while registration also, I've asked questions to put into the interaction. So you write your question, but mostly the questions which I've seen, like how to start from beginning, how to start from scratch, or anything you want to interact in between the session, we will take a break and we'll have. You can just open up and write down in the chat. I will answer that, or खुद को आपको आने वाला live, however it is. It is an interactive session. ऐसा कुछ भी मैं इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं शेयर कर रहा हूँ कि जो आपको नहीं पता, कि इंटरनेट सर्च से नहीं पता चलेगा, कि द चैट जीपीटी में डालने से नहीं पता चलेगा. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. द ओनली थिंग इज all that information which I am going to come, I have gone through those phases of life and those phases of activity. So they are not mere information, but they also have an experience around it. तो क्या कितना सही है, क्या कितना गलत है. समटाइम्स द translation language, because the notification comes in English, people understand something and it becomes a myth kind of a thing. कि जैसे यूपीएससी एग्जाम सिर्फ इंडियन सिटीजन के लिए है. नहीं, इट इज for also Nepalis, for also Bhutanese. So there are various, आपका जो citizenship can be for, you can appear. Various services have that kind of eligibility. If you go deep into the passport, the notification, you will realize this. एंड देन कई सारे चैलेंज, कई सारे जो पैटर्न्स हैं जो हमें नहीं पता है और हम मिथ वाइज हम चलते हैं. तो दैट वेज आई फील एक इंफॉर्मेशन क्लैरिटी एक होता है. जब तक आपका टिल द टाइम यू डोंट हैव ए क्लियर इंफॉर्मेशन, you cannot take an action. And until unless you don't take an action, you don't know what exactly is the capability you need to crack this exam. खाली पढ़ लेने से अगर क्लियर हो जाता तो बहुत बच्चे, इतने गोल्डन टेस्ट बच्चे हैं, पढ़ाई करते हैं, देते हैं एग्जाम, क्लियर क्यों नहीं होता. और वो भी 10th लेवल और 12th लेवल, एनसीईआरटी लेवल की बात है. ऐसा कोई क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स और क्वांटम फिजिक्स या एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स की बात नहीं चल रही. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट पॉलिटिक्स, सोशियोलॉजी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी. आपको दिखता है ये सब, महसूस क्या होगा. यू मस्ट हैव बीन अ पार्ट ऑफ, कोई भी पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया होगा, कुछ तो हिस्ट्री होगा उस जगह का, कुछ तो होगा पुरातन का, पिछले 100 साल पहले क्या था वो जगह. ऑटोमेटिकली हिस्ट्री क्रिएट हो जाता है. सो आर यू अवेयर अबाउट दिस. तो ये सारी बातें हम करते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हम इन इंडिया, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई मीट यू, यू आस्क मी सर आपके नाम से तो यू बिलोंग टू, फ्रॉम वेयर यू बिलोंग. द मोमेंट आई से आई बिलोंग टू भुवनेश्वर और उड़ीसा, यू इमीडिएटली हैव एन इमेज. ऐसा क्यों होता है? बिकॉज हिस्टोरिकली यू हैव अ परसेप्शन अबाउट सर्टेन प्लेसेस. कोई बोलेगा मैं साउथ से हूँ, तो आपके यहाँ तो भाई इडली डोसा ही खाते हैं. परसेप्शन है, सच नहीं है ये. झूठ, गलत है बिल्कुल. कि आप इफ यू आर फ्रॉम पंजाब, तो आप हर दिन मक्के की रोटी और सरसों का साग खा रहे हो और नाचे जा रहे हो. ये परसेप्शन है. तो वी हैव क्रिएटेड आवर परसेप्शंस ऑफ कम्युनिटीज एंड ऑफ थिंग्स, बट रियलिटीज आर डिफरेंट. और जब हम यूपीएससी तैयारी कर रहे हैं, हम रियलिटी पे प्रिपेयर हैं. फ्रॉम द बुक्स, फ्रॉम द सोर्सेस, फ्रॉम द द रियल रेलेवेंट सोर्सेस. तो ये सारी बातें जो है थोड़ी सी विच मेक्स ब्यूरोक्रेट मोर रिस्पॉन्सिबल. तो वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट दैट इन दैट एस्पेक्ट. एंड फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट थिंग इज, अभी क्या है, फॉर द लास्ट 1 month since the prelims result has come, the most heart wrenching thing is people have not cleared these. एंड एवरीबॉडी सेज मैंने बहुत पढ़ाई किया था, मैंने ये किया था, मैंने वो किया था, सब किया था वगैरह. यानी प्रैक्टिकली अगर आप देखो एक बात, यू न्यू दिस एग्जाम हैज अ परसेंटेज ऑफ फेलियर, 99.9% फेलियर रेट है इस एग्जाम. तो वर यू दैट 0.1% आपका मेहनत उतना लेवल था, ये अगर आप एक्सेप्ट कर पाओ तो कोई बात होती. बट वेन यू क्वेश्चन दैट, देन एवरीबॉडी शाइज अवे, दे डोंट वांट टू इंटरेक्ट. तो माय फर्स्ट थिंग इज कि यू हैव टेकन द डिसीजन टू गिव दिस एग्जाम, जहाँ पे पास रेट 99% नहीं है, फेलियर रेट 99.9% है. तो आप फेल तो हो गए हो, तो आप तो होना ही था फेल, वो तो ठीक है. बट पास होने के लिए, वो 0.1% बनने के लिए क्या चाहिए था? क्या आपने वो सब किया? पढ़ाई तो सबने किया. 99% जो फेल हुए वो भी पढ़ाई की. पर क्या आप वो चाहिए, वर यू इनटू दैट 0.1% पीपल हु मेकिंग दैट डिफरेंस? एंड व्हाट मेक्स इट दैट? So there are few very simple things. My way of looking at this exam is, this is a discovery of yourself. While Jawaharlal Nehru wrote Discovery of India, here while you understand India and how India operates, you will know about yourself, your own capabilities and your own character. सिंपल होता है कैरेक्टर. अभी जैसे आज का डेट है, आज हो गया 25 जून. आपने देना है एग्जाम ऑन नेक्स्ट ईयर 23rd मई में शायद से डेट आया हुआ है. So, as per if I go, if you have ever been to my website, उसमें मैंने सबसे फ्रंट पेज पे ही मैंने जो है टाइमर लगा रखा है कि कितना दिन बाकी है अगला प्रीलिम्स के लिए. तो इट सेज 331 days, 4 hours 45 minutes. तो 331 days अपने पास है अगले साल के प्रीलिम्स के एग्जाम के लिए. तो क्या करेगा एक आदमी? ये सोचा कि मैं ऐसा करूंगा, हर 10-10 दिन में ये प्लान कर लूंगा, तो एक महीना 30 डेज का होता है, दैट मीन्स आई हैव अराउंड 10-11 मंथ्स का मेरे पास टाइम है। एवरी मंथ आई विल प्लान दिस। सुबह 8 बजे 9 बजे से पढ़ाई करूंगा, रात के 12 बजे तक पढ़ाई करूंगा, दिन भर ऐसा करूंगा वैसा करूंगा, एक प्लान पूरा बना लिया। जिसमें प्लान बिल्कुल परफेक्ट है, बहुत बढ़िया प्लान। कल से आपका मंडे है, या कल से आप शुरू करने वाले हो 26 जून से। आज रात को ही, अभी जब आप सोने वाले हो, आपने सारा प्लान बना दिया, रात को ही ये आता है कि यार मेरे जरा बच्चे को पता नहीं हो हम, यू गेट अ थिंग दैट कि कल तुम्हारे किसी की शादी अटेंड करना है, कि किसी को ये ट्रेन स्टेशन छोड़ने जाना है, कि कोई रिश्ते में कोई गेस्ट आ गए। पहला ही दिन, तुम्हारा प्लान का पहला ही दिन, जिसमें तुमने सोचा था तुम 8 घंटे पढ़ लोगे, वो 8 घंटा शुरू ही नहीं हो रहा, दिन भर कुछ चल रहा है। ऐसा पहला दिन चला जाएगा, देन यू विल से योरसेल्फ ओके ओके, इट वाज माय फर्स्ट डे, आई विल ट्राई अगेन। दूसरा दिन होगा, फिर कुछ हो जाएगा ऐसा, फिर नहीं हो पाएगा। तीसरे दिन को गिव अप हो जाएगा, अरे यार नया प्लान बनाना पड़ेगा, ये नहीं हो रहा। तो हाफ ऑफ द टाइम, मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल डू नॉट आर अनेबल टू टेक द फर्स्ट स्टेप प्रॉपरली। क्योंकि एस्पिरेशन में अपने मन का दे क्रिएट सो मेनी बिग थिंग्स, कि पहला पहला कदम 1 घंटा पढ़ना, ये थोड़ी होगा। मैं यूपीएससी की तैयारी कर रहा हूँ, कम से कम बोलूंगा ना मैं 5 घंटा पढ़ाई किया। नहीं पढ़ाई किया 5 घंटा, तो 5 घंटा तो रूम में ब्लॉक होना चाहिए। दीज आर सर्टन थिंग्स विच वी क्रिएट अराउंड आवर सेल्फ, एंड दैट इज द रीजन वाई पढ़ाई छोड़ के इन सब पे ध्यान रहता है। खत्म। मेरा ये मानना है, माई ओन एक्सपीरियंसेस, when you start learning, if you enjoy the process, if you enjoy the process, you're reading a book or story book or exam book or whatever, and you're enjoying it, आपको वक्त का पता ही नहीं चलेगा। यू विल नेवर रियलाइज कब 1 घंटा 2 घंटा 3 घंटा हो। बट इफ दैट इज नॉट द केस, दैट मीन्स you are forcing yourself to do something which your heart is not enjoying. Until and unless you do not turn yourself into that kind of preparation, you may not be able to reach to the 0.1% level of toppers or people who clear the exam at every stage of it. So that is where the difference lies. So first and foremost thing is that the next is like, if you don't have a strategy, you don't know what you are doing and why you are doing and how to create a strategy. Oh, that comes out with your own personality. Then you know that this exam you must have covered a lot in the entire year's duration. If you don't get a chance to see them back, if you don't get a chance to revise them, the recall factor will be very poor. एग्जाम में आप देखोगे क्वेश्चन, आपको लगेगा मैंने पढ़ा पढ़ा पढ़ाई वगैरह कर रखी है, बट यू विल बी नॉट बी एबल टू गेट ए एक्यूरेट आंसर आउट ऑफ इट। So that is what one of the thing. Then obviously not tracking your performance, and then many times what happens is because of this digital era, we keep on collecting lot of resources. यहाँ से कुछ नया डाउनलोड मिल गया, वहां से कुछ नया डाउनलोड मिल गया। We keep on doing that, and that creates, you become a data collector rather than processing those information. तो दैट साइकोलॉजिकली तो यू फील लाइक मेरे पास मैंने ये डाउनलोड कर लिया, मैंने वो कर लिया, मैं ये देख लूंगा, मैं वो देख लूंगा, बट सम और अदर वे टाइम के साथ वो सिंक नहीं होता, एंड यू स्टार्ट फीलिंग बैड अबाउट इट, दैट ओके मैंने इतना कुछ किया था पर मैंने कुछ पढ़ा ही नहीं। एंड देन दी कंसिस्टेंसी, कंसिस्टेंसी इज समथिंग विच एक्चुअली इज मोस्ट नंबर वन क्रिटिकलिटी। चाहे रिजल्ट कुछ भी हो, एफर्ट हैज टू बी कंसिस्टेंट, इट हैज टू हैव अ प्रोसेस, इट हैज टू हैव अ सिस्टम। अदरवाइज क्या होता है कि एक दिन मैंने मोटिवेशन दे दिया, कुछ किताब पढ़ लिया, मोटिवेशन हो गया, किसी टॉपर का टॉक पढ़ लिया, देख लिया, मोटिवेशन आ गया। वो मोटिवेशन से एक दिन का कुछ निकल सकता है, एक दो स्टेप, बट एंटायर मंथ का या एंटायर 6 मंथ का या एंटायर 1 ईयर का एफर्ट डालने के लिए यू हैव टू बी डिसिप्लिन एंड यू हैव टू बी कंसिस्टेंट। दिस इज व्हाट दी दीज आर द मोस्ट कॉमन रीजन व्हाई एस्पिरेंट्स फेल। यू मे बी एबल टू रिलेट, आपको कुछ लग रहा होगा आपके साथ भी ऐसा कुछ हुआ होगा। इस एग्जाम में सबसे टफेस्ट पार्ट इज be consistent. Very, very difficult because life is also happening in parallel. आपका दिन कैसा होगा, कैसे, इट इज जस्ट लाइक शोइंग अप एवरी डे, कुछ भी रिजल्ट हो। आज पेपर फेल हो गया, आज पेपर में कम मार्क्स आया, आज नहीं हो पा रहा, आज मन नहीं, कल बुखार है, कुछ है, क्या है। हाँ, वो सब होने के बाद भी being consistent is something which is this exact requirement. So before I move on, if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. I'll wait for 2 minutes. So you have in front of you the major challenges which happens. आपके साथ ये कुछ भी हुआ है? Are you able to relate what I have mentioned? Maybe I don't want to know you in name, or I don't want you to be identified in public. But मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि अगर आपके साथ ऐसा कुछ हुआ है, डू यू रियलाइज दिस व्हेन यू आर, ये सब, तो अगर ऐसा हो रहा है आपके साथ, तो दैट मीन्स दिस इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक्स विच यू आर गोइंग। मे बी आप you are unable to know whether it is a mistake at current stage, or it is, or it sounds like, or it feels like this is the best way. But agar if you kind of think that you have purchased lot of courses, you have not been writing anything, you are actually watching so many YouTube videos, but you have not maintained a notebook of what you are studying. You have not put a test, you have not put any of your knowledge into test practice, and you have not seen any of the previous year questions, and you just don't know what you are heading towards. ऐसा कुछ भी आप कर रहे हो क्या? Then this is the time to realize that you are actually doing a mistake. Moving forward, the core framework of pillars of clearing UPSC is number one, learn. You have to structure your resources. कहाँ से पढ़ रहे हो, कैसे पढ़ रहे हो. Revise, systematic revision is required. And test, validate your preparation. अगर ये लूप आपने रखा है every topic, you will be able to gain a lot. Most common question which comes to me is as a beginner, how do I start? Okay, this is the roadmap on how one should actually start. Uh, just have an observation about it and let me know if you are able to understand this one. I'll take a 2 minutes break over here. So I'm sure you have आपने समझ लिया होगा कि that you start with NCERT, then go to the standard books, and then you have a daily habit आपको बनाना पड़ेगा current affairs, and for testing you got to do mock tests. Some of the daily एक routine मैं बता सकता हूँ for somebody who is like who has full day time as a full time aspirant. So you can divide your morning, afternoon, and evening, and then night, and how you are going to track your study. So somebody who can spare this much amount of time. Uh, Now this depends on what state of exam, what you're attempting, and उसके ऊपर है. But usually somebody who's starting as a fresh and foundation program beginner कर रहे हो, I assume you should have at least 2.5 3 hours study time per day if you can manage. Best time to study, I mean now ये भी आपका अलग अलग है, but because of the disturbance and distraction less hota hai, the morning time is little much better because the day would not have started, people not would have, you would not be meeting people, phone calls, ये सारी चीजें नहीं हुई होंगी. So your study pattern morning would be very distraction less. आप फोन अलग कर सकते हो, फैमिली से कोई आवाज नहीं आ रही. So you can have a good chunk of study over there of learning new things. Then in the afternoon, because the day would have started, news ho gaya hoga, there's some current affair happening, people would be discussing some forward, something can be happening. So you can start making notes around your topics and things like that. In the evening, you do some practices of current affairs and MCQs. Basically, I would want you to go to the previous year questions because हम prepare करने to the level of UPSC. If you do not prepare to the level of UPSC, and you are preparing, just MCQs from any source like that, कोई और exam का, so your brain does not scale up to the level of preparation in one night. It takes time. So I would always say that every day at least प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी की वेबसाइट से डाउनलोड कर लो. अरे नहीं भी आता हो, इवन इफ यू डोंट नो, जस्ट रीड द क्वेश्चन. You will understand what kind of level they are talking. And then your preparation automatically will slowly, gradually move to that. And रात को सोने से पहले, before you sleep, just turn the pages of what you have done today. That's it. Agar if you have any doubt, you will have it in the night in your subconscious mind, and you'll realize whether you understood or not. And next day, if you're still not clear about it, you ask a mentor or you reach out to me or however it is. अगर कोई challenge रह जाए. So you create a system like this, so that as a beginner will help you to stay aligned with preparation, and then you scale up slowly, till the time you don't enjoy the process. Mahendra Singh Dhoni says it very thing. Result can be anything. I have created a process of practice, and the process takes care of whatever be the situation. However, how my process has created me. So like that, you need to create a process for yourself जो कि irrespective of एग्जाम कैसा जाएगा क्या होगा, it still needs to continue. I hope this is I'm able to make you understand. People who can afford coaching, what happens in coaching is there's a timetable, there's a regular class. All of us have come to the school mentality. Till the time it does not happen in the classroom, we feel no, we have not done it. There's a teacher who comes and completes it. Then psychologically we start saying that okay, we have completed. So if you are somebody who thinks that this is what will help you feel that you are completing the portion or syllabus and self-study is not happening with you, then you feel and you can afford actually. But the challenge over here is we are in the pool of misinformation. And second thing is I told you this exam demands self-study. आप कहीं से भी पढ़ लो, कोई भी महंगा किताब पढ़ लो, महंगा कोचिंग, nothing can guarantee until and unless you have not spent time with yourself and the book and the learning. Finally, that has to be done. If you don't do that, no, nothing can compensate actually. So that's what I'm saying. Self study is critical. Coaching कर लिया हो, नहीं कर लिया, whatever. अपने अपने इस पे बात है. बट अगर आप कोचिंग नहीं कर सकते, मतलब ये नहीं कि आप यूपीएससी नहीं दे सकते. That does not mean that you cannot become civil servant. Not at all. You may stay at home, you might be in Andaman, you might be in Arunachal Pradesh, you might be in any part or corner of the world or country and preparing for this exam. You can, with your self-study, it is possible. It needs only two things, discipline and consistency. Now, most of the common question is like, what am I doing? What is Elevate IAS doing? I have created a system for especially GS Foundation program. Every day I'm like, drip. Every day I give a micro learning, and that micro learning is to boost your preparation. You might have your own study plan. You might be giving multiple other exams. You might be a working person, might be a full-time aspirant. You might be a, college student. You might be anything. I only give us micro learning every day, and I try to help you create a system around it. That my system comes through email to you, and it is absolutely free. Only thing is, I check whether you're consistent or not. So before you start claiming कि मैंने बहुत पढ़ाई की सर, मैंने ये किया, मैंने वो किया, your pattern of study or pattern of doing it only shows whether you are disciplined or not. I have seen many people when they fail, they always try to blame UPSC. Or UPSC gave such a tough exam. What did you expect? What was the expectation? Just because you are doing exams, so they will ask whether B comes after A. What is the expectation? Who told you that this exam is going to be easy? Where was it written? Why this assumption ever happened? You are writing the toughest exam of the world and you are expecting it should be easy. If you are at a position in UPSC, what will you make so that somebody who has taken topmost in coaching institute and somebody who could not afford, but both of them the exam should be fair to both of them. What will you do? What will you do so that the exam looks fair for all the people, irrespective of your economic class or anything? You will definitely create unpredictable and definitely create hard paper because some thoroughness of preparation only will clear the exam. Only then you will come out in that 0.1%. Otherwise, you know it is a 99.9% failure exam. So hard work is irrespective of coaching and irrespective of self-study. Hard work is something very embedded. Those are the people who clear it. Even now, people have cleared it. Even if the paper was tough and this thing, who will come and say नहीं भाई फ्लूक हो गया, ऐसे ही मैं तो आंख बंद करके एबीसीडी कर रहा था, मैं क्लियर हो गया. वो मेंस दे देगा, मेंस तो फेल हो जाएगा. So UPSC ensures that all the citizens who are giving this exam, आपका क्या भी इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन हो, आप क्या भी बैकग्राउंड हो, आप गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट हो, आप जीरो मेडलिस्ट हो, आप कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ाई की हो, स्कूल में आपको कितने भी मार्क आए हो, कुछ भी हो, द एग्जाम विल बी फेयर टू. So that's why it is difficult and tough. Just blaming UPSC always is the common sign of somebody who never knew what he is doing. किसी को दो, just for the prestige of in society. Nah, yes, there I'm giving civil services. I will be preparing for government job. If you want to do that, then I'm not denying it. But then that is not what the exam promises. So, coming to the point, major question how to start. So, I give it how to start exactly by daily email. You start 60 days, you see whether you're able to be consistent or not. Automatically, you will have your own certificate. That's enough to know because this exam is about knowing your own self. So, in daily mail, you get few things like NCRT and your MCQs and notes to write in your hand and like micro learning videos and your progress track. So for that you need to go to my website and enroll. But otherwise it is up to you how it starts. So, but most important part of the entire storyline is even if you are preparing on yourself is previous year questions. Previous year questions makes very important for you to understand what kind of topic, what is the way UPSC writes, what is the expectation, what kind of priorities to which kind of topic. It reveals what kind of questions, pattern wise, syllabus wise, why it is so relevant for UPSC. This is something which, with previous year questions, you will be able to know, and your preparation level can increase or go according to that. When it comes to mains, my only way is answer writing it over time duration with the strategy of what understanding the demand of the question and delivering to the demand of the question. If you don't meet any of them, you are not able to score in the paper. Hence, if you are not going to score in the paper, you will not meet the eligibility of cutoff to be in the next round. So that is what the simple thing. So consistency here is the most important characteristic which one needs to have. Motivation is a one-timer thing, but consistency is a decision. तो मोटिवेशन इज अ फीलिंग, आज मैं ये पकड़ लूंगा। बट एक बार आप डिसाइड कर लिया कि मैं हर दिन सुबह करूंगा तो करूंगा, चाहे वो जितना लेट उठो जो उठो। द फर्स्ट थिंग यू गोइंग टू से दैट आई एम गोइंग टू स्पेंड माय 1 hour, दैट मींस यू हैव टू गिव दैट प्रायोरिटी टू दैट, एंड you have to decide every morning, every day, each day as it comes to your hand. For all these people who are watching this today and they are, second time going to appear or third time going to appear next year, or they consider themselves as repeaters, those who have prepared once properly. So it is about revision, it is about recall, it is about quality of your answer. That is what is the reason why you could not make it this time. You need to upgrade yourself with that pattern. अभी फर्स्ट टाइम जैसे खाली समझने से नहीं हो, you need to add depth, you need to add lot of revision and quality. So I would also highlight that with current technology of AI, lot of AI tools help you to enhance your preparation. And I must say that if you can use it, which are free to available, at least you should do it. Do visit my website. I'll just share you my website. So this is the website where it says join workshop for your self preparation. And so your beginners start your self preparation and you subscribe to all these channels. The process is you have to give a 90 rupees fee to show the relevant platform and you have genuine right email ID, correct phone, you detail with us. And then your mains program, foundation program or TS foundation program starts. So you have to fill this form again in which medium and all that. Both Indian English medium is, like you have to tick mark the 400 AGS foundation for it to start immediately from tomorrow morning. And you get other things which is very relevant for your exam preparation. Prelims का and mains का strategy handbook and UPSC preparation kit. So you can just go and download all the notification which is relevant for this exam. So this is basically the website information. So I would suggest that somebody who's a beginner, you start with today you had an awareness session, you start your foundation plan. And this is how basically the process starts. So you like, you start with your activity and things like that. NCRT remains, the most foundation book which needs to be covered in another couple, week or maybe another like time. But in the daily email wise, it comes to you with as each one, each chapter. But with that, I close my session and information session. Now it is about engaging into doubt clearing and any thoughts you have. Please, if you are in YouTube, come live on YouTube. And if you are on Zoom, I would say YouTube streaming, I'm now going to cross. You can enter to the Zoom and discuss your doubt. With this, thank you for today's session. It was wonderful knowing, and I'm sure you're all watching FIFA and into that football fever. Definitely incredible sports, incredible phenomenon. Do stay updated watching that game, and all the best. But people who are preparing for mains and prelims next year, mains this year, they need to focus on study as well. So please use this whatever resources you have to start around that. With that, uh, I'm ending my recording and streaming. Uh, Bye bye, all the best.